Hey, this is Khaliq Glover, and I want to congratulate you on grabbing your list of common problem frequencies. And this is going to be a very helpful resource for you. But I want you to stick with me and watch this video all the way to the end, because what I did was I created a walkthrough for you to show you how to get the most out of using this, using all the different things, and to be able to imprint and commit some of the areas to go to that may be causing some problems right away, so you can look right at them. So go ahead and check it out with me, and it's not very long. It won't take you very long to get through it, and then use this cheat sheet in all your mixing and recording. Okay, I'll see you in a second on watch this training to show you how to get the most through. I'm gonna walk you through it. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and take a walk through with this cheat sheet for you. So what I want to do, let's go down here first of all and talk about the first section. We're talking about the low end. We got the low end that we're going to start out with, and there's a couple of things I'm going to point out over here in this section here. We're going to be dealing with some of the things you can be looking at as far as what you're going to listen to. Things like chest thump or bottom and punch, but also some of the problems, since we're talking about eliminating the problems, some of the muddiness, and so knowing where these things exist down in here is what we're going to be looking at. We'll get farther into that in another training, but right now I wanted to give you a walkthrough of be looking down there for that. Here's a little tip that I got for you. Basically, you can start out trying cutting when you find a problem frequency. Start out trying to cut like -3 dB or -6 dB if a lot seems to be needed, or some kind of multiple or division of that. For example, instead of -3 dB, you might want to go just -1.5 dB, or instead of -3 or -6 is too much, you might want to go in between there and go -4.5. Okay, so any kind of little divisions of those, but this first part is just kind of a good place to start doing your cutting. Start out with -3 dB and just kind of see what happens, and then back off and ease into it to figure out what it is that you actually need. Okay, so now we're going to talk about also when you're dealing with this on the low end, we're talking about going down here and dealing with the filters to get rid of subsonic problems and everything. So you can really safely start at around 35 hertz. When I say 35 hertz, if you do that, you can pretty much cut out all the subsonic rumbling that might be sucking up power or whatever. But it's okay to go higher. So when I say that, I don't mean you have to be stuck there. But you may not want to actually start and add this in on kick drums and bass and stuff like that. Not saying that you can't, because you can use it, but don't start out with that. But the other things you can do it. Guitars, for example, and they're not going to have nothing down that low, or most keyboards and vocals and things like that. So you can safely get rid of all kinds of low mud and rumbling by just deleting in that area, putting a filter on in that area, cleaning up a lot of stuff. Now, many times, like for example, if I've got vocals, I'm on be sure to no subs. I can put a filter on, and maybe as a starting point started filtering everything below 80 as an example, but you can go up higher and lower. Okay, now here's another thing too. Try shelving if you want. If you got some a couple of things that are competing on the low end and you don't quite know what to go for to do it. Here's a little area where you can just start. Just take things down. Just pick something, and if it's causing some kind of muddiness and something weird is going on at the low end, try putting a shelf on and take it down. Start at about 100 and then take it down about 1.5 dB, and just kind of see if things seems to clear up, and then take it right back to 0, then take it down to 1.5 dB again. Maybe try it on a different instrument and see if anything clears up. Because what the shelf does, if we go over here to say Pro Tools and take a look at it, we got this filter here. We can put this low pass filter in there, that's at 35. But say we just wanted the low end to just start shelving. I've got this shelving filter here at 100, and say I want to just dip it down. Let me scale that up for you a bit so you can see it. But you see how that is? That starts in that area of 100 and just gradually takes it down, and everything below that 100 is on this shelf here. So that can kind of give you an idea of dipping. Now, I did it kind of drastically. I'm going down 6 dB. But like I said, to start out, you can take it down, try, a dB and a half, just to see if things kind of clear up. Then take it back off and see how it sounds. Then put it back on and see if it clears up a little bit. You might want to do that. If it's not quite enough, try going down like -3 dB, and then see what happens. Take it back off and try it. This is the way you can use this sheet to kind of test what's going on with what you want to, clear up and everything. So let me go back over here for a second and go back to our cheat sheet for the next part. Okay, then you can mess around with some of these other things. Narrow dipping. Let's go down here, and if we had something slightly below 100 we wanted to get, just pick any frequency, but maybe we had a little problem here in the 70s, and I'm using let me zoom in for you here so you can kind of see what's going on here. So say I wanted to dip that, and I'm going down here. Now you see that's kind of broad when that's coming down. If I'm coming down 3 dB, let's say that right in here in this area, it's kind of broad, but let's tighten that up a little bit, because maybe we don't want that much on the sides. So if I tighten that up a bit and say, that's just dipping down at 73, and then the stuff on the sides is still slightly dipping down, but it's not being affected as much. Whereas when I had it over here before, it was affecting everything way down there. So you see it's going out and down here, down into I guess that's probably around like 40 or 40s and the 30s or whatever. This is up here past 100, going up, probably close to 200 and everything. That's affecting too much on either side of this 70 that I wanted. So to solve a problem, I might want to tighten that up and just dip out however much you need to dip it out, and it might only be a little bit. So like I said, try the multiples. I might want to do a dB and a half. That might be just enough. Might want to do 3 dB, 4.5, 6 dB, whatever it takes to get it kind of in that area. We'll play with it, but those are good starting points. Anyway, let's go back over here to the sheet, and I'll show you how to use it some more. Okay, let's talk about the mids, the low mids. This is where you're going to have things, and the low mids are basically, that's what we call the danger zone, because there's a lot of stuff that's going to go through that 250 area to 500, up to 500. Okay, let me get that, surround that a little sloppy there, but that's what we call the danger zone right in there. And that danger zone area is can be very problematic and get you in trouble, because everything starts building up through there. Keep that in mind. That you're looking at area for cloudiness and boxiness in the sound and everything. So one thing that you can check, if you've got some drums or whatever, a drum kit and some other stuff, look around 300 here, 300, and see about dipping some stuff out of that area to clear up the drums. If you got like this sound that has that little honking kind of sound in it, very boxy, look around the 400 and 500 area, in that general area, and see about dipping some of that stuff up out. So that's why I have that over here, just saying, in this area, try cutting, just cut, around 3 dB and see what happens. And then if it's too much or not enough, see if you need to do more or less. It's usually less is more. Try to do the least amount you need to do. Also, another can be a problem. I'm talking about taking things out, but sometimes you don't have enough fullness and things like that. Things like that can be missing. So start looking in those low mids. Maybe if you want to add some kind of fullness and roundness, and you can start looking in, if something just feels like it doesn't have a lot of guts, start looking in this area, anywhere from like 160 hertz up to about 230. Those are not hard and fast numbers, but general areas to look. Try boosting a little bit and seeing if that fills things out the way you want without causing cloudiness and muddiness. Okay, so with that, let's go down to the high end as well. And on the high end, things like for example, over here we have this picture of this de-esser here, and this de-esser is going to be dipping out different areas that pop out, so it grab little peaks that come out. It's looking in this general area here, but anything that can pop out and give us these little hard sibilant S sounds, you want to tame those, whistling tones and stuff like that, especially on vocals. Look around 2.5K through 8K. You know, in that general area, usually 8K and 4K, 5K in that area is where S's are going to live pretty hard, but they can go below down into this area or up above, and you can try dipping them out with the EQ if it's something that just needs to be tackled through the whole song, or if it needs to be dynamically handled and just ducked out every now and then that's when a de-esser comes in handy, dipping between 1.2 to 5K to get the instruments out of the way of vocal presence and articulation. You can just try messing with that and try widening and narrowing the how much you're dipping out to get it out there. And if you've got a telephone quality or something like that going on in your vocals, it just got this weird sound that sounds like old school telephones, that could be around 1K. So, if that's a problem, if it sounds kind of weird to you, you can check in there. You can also use that 1K to add that telephone sound that we've heard on so many different records, You can do a shelving EQ at around 5K to remove edginess, and you can add some air up above if your thing sounds kind of dull and doesn't have air, and that's another problem. So while I'm taking away in most cases, sometimes the problem is that you don't have enough of something, so you can add that back in. Okay, so generally, those are the three main areas where you want to kind of look. Now of course this is just a quick start to get you going in the general area. Then you can drill down and find different things. But check for low end boominess, tubbiness, and not enough bass. Check for low mid stuff, boxiness, muddiness, honking sounds, and the high ends for whistling and edginess, shrillness, or an irritating sound up there. If you do look for all these things with this quick start guide here by your side, you should be able to get a good start and have your mix sounding very good and in a good place really quick. But why don't you click the button and join me on the webinar, because I'm going to get into a lot more, a lot deeper. I think you'll get a whole lot of benefit from attending. Go ahead and click that button now and save your slot, and I want to see you on the webinar. We're going to have a great time and you'll learn a whole lot. Okay, this is Khaliq Glover, and I hope this was helpful to you. Talk to you soon. Bye.